Welcome to 2025.
Welcome to the Shit Fest.
If you came back, congratulations,
Thank
you're a
you.
winner. Thank you.
And we're starting the year out with also turning children's rhymes into sex.
You chose to go directly on camera and stuff your mouth.
Hell
Nice.
fucking yeah. Boop, let's go, bitch.
It's a glory hole romance. You're welcome. Hello.
Hello, she asked me as I put a sandwich directly into my mouth.
Not my fault that you chose to go directly on camera and stuff your mouth.
Listen, that's never going to change. And for those who are listening, if I sound a little dark and sultry, I am on day 15 of being sick. So here we are.
And my body is actively fighting against not being sick because everyone around me is actively very sick. So I'm a little like nasally and just, but not like actively. But yeah, I want to show you what I did.
Ooh, okay.
So my kids at school have been benchmark testing because it's mid-year. And we always do that after the holiday break. And so I always like to give them like some kind of incentive after benchmark testing. So like something fun that we all do together. So like we live in a really rural area, and you'd be apparently surprised to know that I guess a lot of kids have never had like an ice cream sundae or like made the one or whatever. So we did ice cream sundaes last time. We did like make your own, and we got all kinds of toppings. They could do whatever they wanted, and we just had a whole ice cream sundae party. And this time it was a request that they asked if we could make our own soaps because one of the like testing things, one of the passages was about making soap, one of the reading passages. So they all got really into it and wanted to make soap. And I'm like, say less. So we all got to make soap. And we had these like little kits and everything. And one of them was a unicorn kit. Okay. And then one of the kids didn't really want to make one. She kind of felt silly about making one because she's older and whatnot. But I was like, make one for me. I want one, knowing that I was going to make one for her, and we'd trade. And so she did, and I got to pick which one I wanted. Of course, I claimed it first because when I show you this soap, you'll understand why. Because me and the other teacher that was leading the room was like, maybe we should take this one out because it's a little phallic. Yes, I made a unicorn horn soap. Well,
Yeah,
she did for
that's
me.
what it
Isn't
is.
it pretty?
It's got a kind of, it doesn't really have a big flared base though.
It does not have a big flared base, no.
So,
But it's still,
yeah, no.
it's very, I did not want it to go home with another child, so
No.
it went home with
God,
me.
no.
Do you like my soap?
I really love your soap, and I can't wait for you to wash your hands with the soap. No, you
And
gotta
maybe
like
other parts.
double hand
I'm
it.
kidding.
Yeah.
It's a tiny soap.
There's a joke in there. That's big. That's
It's bigger than what
average.
never mind.
That's where my brain went too. It's not chapstick.
It is bigger than a chapstick. Exactly.
We're so funny.
Welcome to 2025.
Welcome to the Shit Fest.
If you came back, congratulations.
Thank
You're a
you.
winner. Thank you.
Yeah. What did you win? Nothing. Us doing this again.
Yes. More of this. You're welcome.
More of the unhinged. It's been interesting. We took the whole month of January off, and when we say that, we actually quite literally mean we pretty much took most of January off.
Yeah, we
to
have like
do
a week
nothing.
left of January.
We didn't record, we didn't really read, we didn't function.
But we read our own books, but like,
Well, kind of. I've read a total of now, I think, 2 books this year.
I think I've read 8, so it's not a lot.
Yeah, but it's okay.
We know that this is a busy time of year anyways, and happy birthday to Crystal.
Yep.
And we
Turned
wanted to-
35 and my life imploded. So,
Yeah. Well,
just
it's like the quarter quell.
yeah,
We
I
just
don't
have
want to
to-
live through that, but thank you so much.
Anywho, we are off on another grand adventure. We have a brand new wheel for the new year.
Yay! And I'm
And-
so excited. I loved having our set stuff for the last 3 months
Yeah,
of
but
the
it can
year.
get quite a little
But like
unhinged.
I missed having the thrill of spinning a wheel and not knowing what we're
And not
actually
knowing
gonna
what's
be.
next.
It's
I know,
so
'cause
like
If you're new here, we compile
Well,
a
if you're
list
new
of
here,
books.
welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah. Hi, I'm Ariel.
I'm Crystal.
We
We're a mess.
yeah, we're a mess. But we compile a list of books based on either suggestions or books that we see in the book community or books that we just feel fit a vibe. We try to make them different. So like we'll pick different categories. Like so we might pick like historical romance, we might pick taboo romance, we might pick a book about aliens, we might pick a book about
Spoiler, we may or may not have picked a time travel romance.
right. Like so we try to pick different categories, especially if it's going to be something that kind of isn't something we normally pick to kind of push our boundaries a little
Boundaries.
bit or buttons a little bit. Not buttons, but boundaries a little bit. Yeah.
Our boundaries.
First, yeah.
Not a button.
And then
Well,
each week
you can push those buttons if you really want to. Ariel sometimes is a fan of a one-handed read.
sometimes, hold
You're
on.
welcome. What are you talking
Um
about? All the time.
so anywho, then we spin a wheel, like a wheel generator,
Mhm.
and we just have to read whatever comes up from that list. And it's kind of
Yes.
fun. Is it very difficult for me as a mood reader? Abso-freaking-lutely. And
You
that's
can
part of
just
the
ask her
challenge.
how this went to this time.
After taking time off, this was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was I super amped up to read about a glory hole, though? Yes. Oh, welcome. Because on this week's episode, we read Forget Your Morals by Sarah Blue. And yes, it's a glory hole romance. You're welcome.
I just have to say that my favorite thing was the dedication, which just said, to the amount of glory hole research done for this book, you're welcome. And as soon as that started, I was like, oh, I love this for me. This book, I enjoyed it. I had a great time. Let's talk about the glory hole. I'm also so glad that you sent me the picture and that there was a couple pictures because I was trying to think of the heart-shaped glory hole part and I was like, how does this work?
Oh,
Because
I've
it's
seen some
not
of those before.
because okay, so I haven't seen that one, but I have seen where the full end of the person is out.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's just a circle and it's got
Yeah.
like a thing. I haven't seen a heart-shaped one where like
And
you
then the
sit like
curtain.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, first of all, I am not flexible enough for that. So that would never happen.
See, unfortunately, I am because all my joints hyperextend, which is actually a
Yeah.
problem, but
Yeah.
it's a problem for me, not
Oh,
necessarily for my flexibility.
no, well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that it would be a problem for you.
But no, I can very much do that.
I cannot. I cannot. I didn't test it, but I cannot. And I
Well,
know that I cannot.
I just know that I can stretch that way.
Yeah, I can't. No, thank you. Anyways, so
You don't need to hear about that. Anywho,
let's hear about the glory hole though. This is great. I give me a glory hole. It started with a hole.
how did it end
Holes.
up like
Three
this?
holes. How did it end up like this? Well, Ariel's gonna
So,
tell you how it ended up the way it ended up.
and just to preface, I'm not going to get into it all right now, but it might sound a little disjointy. The timeline in this book was a little disjointy. So, if you're having a problem with that, sorry, that's the way it was.
Sorry, not sorry.
As no, it is what
And
it is.
the taboo part of this, do we want to put do was there any there wasn't any trigger warnings for this, was there?
She's not, this girl,
So they're cousins with heavy quotation marks because she was adopted,
but raised together as
but
cousins.
raised together, and he's like a cousin. To me, though, it wasn't gross. It
They
didn't,
were
it,
raised together?
I mean, I guess so, but I don't know.
I don't know. I was here for the glory hole. Anyhow, so our FMC is Penny, and Penny is outside trying to figure out a way to get home. She's spiraling, much like Crystal's life. Her life is very well not what she thought it would be at almost 30. She's not married with kids, living a
Well, I'm
happy, fulfilling
35,
life.
so
Right. She's not married with kids, living a happy, fulfilling life. Penny lives rent-free in a building her parents own and works at a job her cousin handed to her that she doesn't even really want. In her opinion, she keeps finding herself making crappy life choices and making poor decisions that don't get her anywhere but miserable. Penny was adopted into a loving family that has been nothing but supportive, but still, she seems to be hopelessly searching to find herself, which has led her here at the end of yet another train wreck of a relationship. This train wreck of a relationship turned physically violent, so she wants to get the fuck out of here ASAP. She starts calling cousins after cousins. Her favorites are out of town. She has four male cousins, the oldest being the one who got her the job, and a middle cousin, and two baby, not baby, but younger. The two youngest are twins,
The two twins fucking kill me.
and those are her favorite.
I I
They're
I love
closest
them.
in age to her. Those are the ones that she is closest to. But they are
Okay.
out of town. And that leaves her, unfortunately, stuck texting her cousin Lincoln, the middle one, who lives in her building anyway. But it is better than being in a car with a stranger after the night she's had. He's just a grumpy puss and is not somebody she's super close with. And she just knows if she asks for anything, it's just going to make everything feel like, oh, he's so put out. He's not going to purposefully make her feel that way. She's going to put that on herself. She texts him though, and he asks for the address. And as she waits, Jameson, the douche who slapped her, provoking this entire spiral, comes out to look for her. She realizes all her shitty exes have J names, and I went through this whole spiral while reading this of, do I need to change my son's name legally
No, you just
before
need
he's an
to
adult?
raise him so that he is not like one of these J names.
Well, I probably ruined him for life because the other day he kind of went on a men rant, and I said, "You are a man." He goes, "No, I am a male. I will never be a man because men are trash."
Your son is correct.
And I was like, "Oh no, I have
I went on
ruined
the
you."
spiral because I can fully confirm that men with J names are trash.
But they're not all trash. I've met J name people that aren't.
A lot of them are.
There are many, and many K names are strippers, and you are not. So
Do you know how wild it was to see my name in this book?
yeah, that was great. Jameson tries to convince Penny to come back inside, saying he's sorry, that he just lost his temper. He grabs her arm as she tries to back away, just as Lincoln pulls up. Lincoln's sudden presence, thankfully, causes the arm to drop. Lincoln asks if she's good. Penny says she wants to go home, and he helps her to the car, asking if Jameson was the cause of her cheek. When she doesn't say anything, he walks back to Jameson and slaps him hard enough to knock him down, yells at him, and then goes back to the car and gets in. So, listen, I'm not going to lie. My first impression of Lincoln, bitch slapping a man on the sidewalk, was not the best. I wish that he had, I don't
Punched
know.
him?
Yes. I just felt it was just kind of a,
I mean, he kind of hit him the exact same way that he
and
hit
I
her.
get that.
I
It
wonder
was
if the
it
dude
was
had punched her, if he
retaliation.
would have punched
Right.
him.
It was probably that. But I just, anyone slapping anyone is just kind of dumb, personally. But I don't know why the thought of just like a giant man slapping someone is just so,
Hilarious.
yeah, and it's just not
I don't
tough
know.
guy. I know that sounds sexist, but even if a giant woman did it, I'd feel the same way.
A giant woman.
Well, like a six foot.
Ariel.
Okay, I'm 5 feet tall. Okay, almost everyone's giant. Like a 6 foot woman. I'm just saying.
Okay. Like an Amazon.
Yeah. Anywho, the car ride home is very quiet and tense, and when she tries to comment on it, Lincoln tells her he doesn't want to talk because he's trying to show restraint, so he doesn't turn around and do what he actually wanted to do to that guy. He just wants to go back home to normal, not have late night rescues for a woman with zero self preservation or any radar when it comes to shit men. That shuts her up. The next day, Lincoln is at work. He runs the family business. His days are pretty routine and mundane. His dad stops by for lunch. Even after stepping down, he can't stay away. But he urges Lincoln to check in with his brother Aiden, the older one. Aiden's business partner is slowly losing his battle with cancer. Lincoln makes sure to. So I'm going to just preface right now. This book is part of a two-book series, and they are connected standalones. They both are happening simultaneously. So it doesn't matter which order you read them in necessarily, but the other book is about Aiden and his story. And there are going to be a lot of pieces of this that I skip over for in in reference to that because we don't have the whole story because we did not read them simultaneously. So there's that. Long story short, though, we find out that the important part of this is that the guy, his business partner, had an illegitimate daughter that just came out of the woodwork that he just told on his deathbed and now owns like a big portion of the company. So Aiden's all upset over many things, obviously, the big one being his best friend is dying. And Lincoln makes sure to touch base with Aiden over drinks that evening at Lincoln's preferred club, Avalon. Avalon is a kink club, but they just have a drink at the front bar. They don't go in and get to give us any good stuff. Avalon is also the club that has a completely anonymous section coming soon. That piques Lincoln's interest. But this anonymous section,
I mean, it would pique my interest if you're going to tempt me with that.
right,
Okay.
is
Gimme, ladies.
one
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Penny has just put in a member application for. She learned about Avalon from an email of Aiden's at the office because she works at the office and often helps with Aiden's work. So she made sure to put Aiden on her blocked list because, duh, he's her cousin. She don't want anything nefarious. And after touring the new addition to Avalon himself, Lincoln decides to also sign up. We all know where this is going. Shock, awe.
That's your first shock of the season, folks.
Should we tally them?
Probably not. Take a shot every time. Don't do that.
The room is basically a glory hole experience. No talking, no meeting, just sex. Just what he's looking for. Penny, meanwhile, is working with private investigators that her mom helped to hire to learn about her birth parents in the hopes that it will give her closure and help her headspace. She's taken out of those thoughts, though, with an alert with her matches for the start of Avalon's special room. One piques her interest, and she sets an appointment for the next night. Penny is nervous and excited when the time comes. She has chosen the traditional glory hole for their first scene and her intro to this whole thing. And when she walks in there, it's just a cock through a hole waiting for her mouth. Penny wastes no time. She sinks
They're
to
like,
her
hell
knees
fucking yeah. Boop, let's go, bitch.
and she sucks Lincoln's cock like a champ.
She doesn't know it's Lincoln's, but it's very pretty to her.
And weird, coincidentally, they arrive back at their building at the same time.
How does that not put alarm bells in your head?
So I was going to talk about this later, but well, I could just well, so she does not connect anything to do with Avalon to Lincoln because when they've talked about it in the past, he has always said that's where the degenerates go. That's just, that's just trash. So it wouldn't even cross her radar that that's where he would be.
These are grown ass adults. And
But are they acting like it?
no.
Exactly. So
Mm.
they verbally spar about where the other could possibly have gone with no friends, because both of them are pretty loners, and they go their separate way, both with a renewed quest to find a friend, which is pretty funny. We did not get a picture at the end of this session, so I was big fat sad. Lincoln does send a message to his anonymous hookup, though, asking to schedule a round two, which she accepts and will take place in only a few days. In the interim, Lincoln's staff is very suspicious why he became almost tolerable at work. Like, what's going on, buddy? The night comes and the big hole is chosen. It's like a heart-shaped almost hole that so that you can put your whole self in. Put your whole self in, take your whole self out, put your whole self in and get fucked out. Okay. That was
And we're
bad.
starting the year out with also turning children's rhymes into
I
sex.
was so sad when the out of the box people came and sang goodbye to TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever knows the song or who out of the box is when I like sing it to like kindergartners and stuff. And then like it like made my whole day when they just popped up there and I was like, oh, I was like, yes. But then sad. Ew. Penny secures herself against the opening with her legs against the wall. Lincoln comes in. He teases her with his mouth and his fingers, and then he fucks her while also using a vibrator on her clit. They both feel way too much of a connection to a stranger on the other side of a wall. Also, no picture. So I was like, what the fuck? Did I get a shitty version? Was it only the book version? So then I had to go and find one of the posts that was recommending this book and make sure that I wasn't crazy. And no, they were talking about the Kindle version. I was like, what the fuck? And so I commented, I was like, is it only specific scenes? Like, I've already done two and I got nothing. And then they told me, yes, it's only specific scenes. I was like, fuck. So I was sad, big fat sad. But I digress. I
It's
moved
still
on.
more than other books have given us. So at least there's that. But
Yes.
yes,
But
besides the point.
I was like, Ah, bummer. That's why I picked this. But I was moving on. I was still here for it. I was like, okay, there must be some doozies then. Ready for it. So, anywho, Lincoln spends the next few days actively avoiding the Avalon app. He can feel obsession coming on, and he wants to try to stop it. Aiden
Good
calls
luck.
him. Right? Aiden calls him. His friend is gone. Lincoln goes to pick Aiden up at the hospital, and they head for the batting cages and then back to Lincoln's house where he can make sure Aiden is good and not alone. Aiden texts Penny to let her know so she can inform the office and let everyone go home. A couple days later, there's a funeral, and after the funeral, Penny and Lincoln hit a bar on the way home. A bar where people seem to know and like Lincoln. Penny is like, what the fuck?
Who the fuck are you?
Right. She feels like she stepped into a Twilight Zone.
I
Like,
mean,
who is this man? Lincoln even gets up to sing karaoke.
who is this man? Who are you?
Penny's even pressured to take a turn. Wild. He points out she's very bad at singing, though.
Well,
They
oh,
both drink plenty of tequila before ending the night, parting ways in the elevator of their building.
smart.
Yeah, goes
Just
over
kidding.
tequila.
I should not be allowed to drink tequila. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know.
Shut the fuck up.
The next day, they are both hungover. Lincoln grabs takeout on his way home from work and runs into his ex, Vanessa.
I
He
hate this bitch.
he was with her for 2 years, almost 5 years ago. So in the beginning of the book, they kept saying it was 5 years ago, and then at this point of the book, it changed suddenly to 4 years, and then from this point on, it was 4 years. So a couple continuity errors that I will point out, but throwing it out there. But so I'm going to say almost 5 years ago.
Perfect.
And the breakup turned him into even more of a surly, cranky bastard than he already was. Turns out she was married with kids. He
And she
didn't
runs into
know.
him during this with her kids. Like,
The whole nother secret life where he was just a bit of fun when she needed it.
which is
And
so crazy. And honestly, if that had happened to me, I would have also been surly and really annoying.
right when it all came crashing down, he was just left feeling embarrassed, like an embarrassed idiot when he realized everything.
I mean,
And
yeah, if
then
you're
here
with someone for
she,
2 years and
right,
you
and
don't
then
even
here she
know,
is saying, "Oh, it was just a bit of fun. What's the big deal?"
bitch, die.
Right. Like,
No.
I hope you're well.
Get the fuck out of here. I hope you're well. I hope you're not well.
I hope you're happy and healthy. But the encounter pushes him over the edge, and his resolve crumbles as he logs into the Avalon app and requests another night with his mystery woman. They go to Avalon, and we finally get a visual, finally, to go with this scene, which is why this book was chosen. Penny is in her stockings. She is through the hole. Lincoln, that's his name. Lincoln is tearing his stocking. Her stock. Lincoln is tearing.
You were gonna call him Larry.
Even know what I was gonna call him.
How did you forget his name?
Lincoln tears her stockings open, goes down on her, fucks her. Both of them just end up feeling this obsession is way too much and growing way too much, and are both afraid that they now want more with the other person.
Wild to get from a glory hole, but all right.
Right. They just have this wall between them. And Penny learns that Avalon is throwing a masquerade party in the main club for the 4th of July, and she decides that that will be her recon mission. She needs to see if her mystery man is as interested in her as she is in him. She shops for a tight black dress, orders a mask, and when the night comes, she is on the prowl looking for the man with the pseudonym Wayne. Hers was Honey. But instead,
It should be noted it is Wayne like Batman.
right.
That is important
Yes, I,
for later.
yes. But instead, she stumbles across Lincoln. What the actual fuck? Why would he be there? He's told her before that Avalon is a place for degenerates.
And just so
And
you know, Lincoln not very happy to see her there
no,
either.
it's the last place she thought he would be. She calls him out on that fact, and he tells her that's why he's there. Duh. And that she needs to leave, that she does not belong there.
I would be like, excuse you.
I'm a degenerate too.
Yes, I do.
She says that she is not leaving until she gets what she came for. He's like, "What's that?" She says she's looking for someone. He's like, "Who?" She doesn't want to tell him, so she just says Batman, obviously, since it's close enough to the truth because, Bruce Wayne. He fucking freezes. and asks her what she just said, he starts to sweat. And she sees his reaction, and the dread dawns as she just whispers, fuck, and
Because she just
quickly
banged her cousin.
books it out the door, trying to catch her breath. She makes it outside, feeling like she
Sorry.
can't breathe, crying, having a panic attack. She rips off her mask, only being held up by the outside wall. Lincoln, who somehow became unfrozen, finds her and tries to get her to breathe. He grabs her stuff from the front door and pulls her into his car. She manages to breathe and sinks into despair instead of panic. Lincoln turns and asks her if she's Honey, just to confirm. Just got to make sure here.
So the freak out did not tip you off. Her saying
He
fuck and
just
running out and crying and
needs
basically becoming catatonic.
to dot his I's and cross his
I
T's
mean, I
and
guess so, but
be
sir,
thorough. He needs to hear her say it. But he doesn't hear her say it because all she does is nod.
but
So
that's enough.
that's enough. He's like, fuck. He tells Penny they can keep it between the two of them. No one has to know. They can pretend it never happened. She says, okay. And they go home. That night, Lincoln is frustrated with himself. Because while, yes, he was shocked, he didn't react the same way as Penny. In fact, this didn't stop his want for her, only gave a face and made more of a connection to her. Now he can picture what she sounds like. Now he can picture what she looks like. And she's one of the only humans he actually connects with. And now their sexual compatibility? He
That
can't stop
sucks.
himself from wanting that. Plus, they aren't blood related, he tries to reason with himself. But her reaction and tears do make him feel bad and makes him feel like he might need a therapist.
Don't we all? I mean, at least his first reaction wasn't, "Oh, her tears, I want to drink them."
We're not we're not at that part of the season yet, folks. We'll get
We
there, I'm
haven't gotten
sure.
there.
We'll get there, I'm
Let me
sure.
drink your tears. Yes.
At least Crystal's prepared for it.
I'm always prepared for it at this point. I gave up on life.
Lincoln doesn't see Penny for 2 days, but when Sunday rolls around, he hesitates at her door. He always drives her to family dinner. They have family dinner every Sunday. But he knocks and she answers, looking like a wreck. She turns around and heads to the table and shows him a letter. It's from her bio mom. The private investigators got back to her. The letter is telling Penny to stop looking, explaining that she wasn't in a safe space when she had to give Penny up and things were hard. And she's now just trying to come out of things and is trying to heal herself. And she does not want contact and not to look for her birth father. That road will not get her in a good place, and just trust her. It's not good. Penny tells Lincoln that between this and what happened with them, how much can she take before she just gives up and falls apart? Lincoln asks if she wants to let some anger out and tells her to get changed. He takes her to a smash room. It takes her a bit to really try, but once she gets into it, the floodgates open and Lincoln holds her as she just sobs. She tells him about how no one wants her, that she fucks everything up, and at best, she's an obligation to those in her life. And then she fucks her cousin through a glory hole. Like, freaking A. The attendant comes in to tell them their time is up, and Lincoln takes Penny home and tucks her into bed. He goes to leave, but she asks him to stay. She asks him not to tell anyone about her bio mom's letter, and she falls asleep. In the morning, Penny wakes alone, and she's almost kind of sad about that, which is fucking wild. But Penny has had this boat event party that she's been planning for the company she works at for a while now. It's the only part of the job she actually enjoys, planning events. It's finally come to fruition, and everyone is having a great time on the boat. Everyone drinks a lot, including Penny. She goes to order an Uber, but Lincoln is there to pick her up. And he's not too happy interrupting some guy asking Penny out. She had turned the guy down anyways, but he's not happy. They get into the car, but Mr. Grump is full on. And Penny asks what his problem is. Lincoln pulls over and tells her she's his problem. That he just can't forget. That no one would have to know. that they can just pretend that they're in that room, just a secret, just them two. Penny tells them that they shouldn't. He tells her no one will know. And then they're both at each other, tearing clothes off. Penny climbs over the center console, and as he pushes her underwear aside, she slides down on top of him. They fuck right there and then in the car, Lincoln holding her by the hair, telling her she missed his dick, while she teases him about being jealous of that guy. When they finish, Lincoln asks Penny to give him the weekend. No picture of this, by the way. To spend the weekend together, to get it out of their systems. Yeah, because that
Because that
always
works.
works.
Because
And
that's how
then
that works,
they can
guys.
go back to normal. She's hesitant, but says just the weekend, that she can't lose the only family she has. He says okay. She tells him they need rules. He says no kissing. He knows that that's just going to take him right over the edge. No, no, no. She says it also never gets mentioned after the weekend. They drive back and they go to Lincoln's apartment. She starts to back out, but he tells her to go to his bedroom and undress and wait for him to come and eat her out.
Okay.
Yeah, she also,
Don't need to tell me
yeah,
twice.
she goes to his bedroom. He does, and they end up in the shower later discussing what she wants from him for the weekend. She explains her want to try being taken and exploring bondage in the morning. Well, her version of morning because she is not a morning person, so it's noon. They have breakfast and watch trash TV. It just so happens to be, I'm pretty sure, Love is Blind. And they make a whole big deal about how
It
two
is.
people are falling in love with a
A
wall
hundred
between them.
percent this shit is Love is Blind.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, look, these two strangers are falling in love with a wall between them. What a coinky dink. Oh, wow.
These two not strangers are falling in
I
love
know.
with each other. They think they're strangers originally.
They spend the day enjoying each other's company and fall asleep relaxed. Penny wakes to someone on top of her with a hand covering her mouth. They role play their parts. Lincoln is an intruder and he fucks Penny face down on the bed. Also, no photo. In the morning, time is up. You should probably wait till you're not drinking. In the morning, time is up, and Lincoln tells Penny he does not want things to end. She tells him that is not the agreement, that she is not willing to lose her family. He tells her she wouldn't. Penny says that they would choose him, that she needs to go, and she leaves. Lincoln vows that he will find a way to show Penny that he's all in, that he's choosing her. Penny books an emergency session with her therapist so she can freely talk about all the crazy in her life. The therapist suggests writing a burn letter to Penny's bio mom to help her get out all the feelings. And she also does not pass judgment about the whole cousin thing, and that
Which I
kind of screws with
appreciate
Penny's
that.
head.
Well, okay, not the screwing with her, but like I appreciate that.
Hmm.
Here's the thing though. Okay. Penny the whole time was so concerned about, and I understand it because it's weird because it's your cousin,
Hmm.
so much about losing her family. But like, I feel like,
She feels like because she doesn't have that blood tie to them, that they will never choose
but they
her.
raised her. So
Right.
you
They
would
literally chose
think,
her originally,
yeah,
but
I
she
think,
doesn't have that
I know. Well, Penny needs
solidified.
to,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's got to work on that. Anyway,
she's
the
in therapy, but clearly it's not working.
it's a work in progress. We're all a work in progress.
That is true.
And the way they met was not like nefarious. You know what I mean? They didn't go about
Yeah.
it to be like, oh, we're just flirty or whoa, I feel like
Oh, I
he's
want to be a
hot.
cousin fucker. Like that's
Right.
not what they set out to do.
It was like an organic accident, which kind of made it okay in a sense. And that's the
Hmm.
only way like it kind of worked for me. But they did grow up together. That's the only thing that's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh. It's not like she was just adopted like later in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she writes this letter, and Lincoln finds Penny up on the rooftop of their building with her finished letter, contemplating if she should really burn it. She reads Lincoln the letter, and then that is her, okay, yes, I feel okay now, I can burn it. Other than the rooftop, they've both been trying to keep their distance from each other at Penny's request, and it's miserable for Lincoln. He's drowning himself in his sorrows at a bar when the bartender calls Aiden to come pick Lincoln up. Lincoln is not happy about this and is even less happy when they make another stop to pick up Jessa. And now Jessa is the girl, that mysterious daughter of Aiden's coworker.
Mm.
And I don't want to go into too much detail and spoil things, but it's her and Aiden's story that is simultaneously running at the same time as this book. But Jessa becomes a part of the company because now she has a big stake in it, and Penny kind of adopts her with her whole I need friends thing, and she just decides that this is her friend now. and they become friends.
Which
And
I love for her.
yeah, so now they're out having a good time at a bar, and Aiden has to swing by and pick them up, Jessa and Penny. The men go in and find the women, and Lincoln plunks down next to Penny, saying he wants to order food. Not what they came for, but he also grabs her leg under the table and doesn't let go. Jessa sees this, but after making what the fuck eyes at Penny, distracts Aiden with a dance. Penny reminds Lincoln that they decided that they wouldn't do this. He corrects her, saying that she decided. She says when he gets sick of her, she'll be left with nothing. He asks her how he could get sick of her. Aiden and Jessa return, and Penny excuses herself to the bathroom. Lincoln forces himself into the single stall right behind her. He fists her dress and tells her to tell him to stop. She says it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea, right? But not to stop. Like, hello. He fingers her until she comes and then tells her he can't stop. And then he leaves.
Can't
She
stop, won't
breathes.
stop.
She breathes for a bit, and when she's ready to leave the bathroom, Jess is at the door asking if she's okay. Penny tells her she's fine. Really, she's fine. Okay, maybe if you're gonna have a friend, maybe you should actually talk to this friend.
Right?
Just saying.
Girl.
You gotta learn what a friend is,
She's got to talk to somebody,
right? Well, that was what the emergency therapist appointment was for.
but also have friends. Weren't they just talking about the fact that they don't have friends?
Yeah, she's trying. The
Not
next
hard enough, apparently.
the next day, Lincoln knocks on Penny's door. She answers, clearly crying. She tells him her bio mom was killed in a car accident, that the PI just sent over all of her info, that it's over. She will never change her mind. And this is an odd turn, not gonna lie. I was like, where the fuck are we going with this?
Nowhere.
I was like, why is this here? I did not understand why this needed to be here.
I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing,
I,
dude. I got
I
nothing for you.
It was weird. But Lincoln comforts her. They hang out in her bed watching TV together so that Penny isn't alone for the night. And they fall asleep. They're both startled awake by a knock at the door. It's Penny's mom. Penny and her have a lunch date because that's when Penny wakes up. Penny shoves Lincoln in her closet. Lincoln is pissed. He doesn't want to be a dirty closet secret. Like, I'll make you my dirty
Dirty
little
little
secret.
secret.
He's wondering as he waits for them to leave, when it's safe, if he should just be done chasing a woman that doesn't want him. Penny goes to lunch with her mom and tells about her bio mom, but only that, not about Lincoln.
Yeah.
And Lincoln texts her saying, you know what? I'm done. I'll leave you alone now. And he sticks true. A month goes by
God, a
and
man who stays true to his word. How rare is that?
yeah, a month goes by and Lincoln has kept his distance for real this time. Penny hasn't seen or heard from him, and it is now time for their family trip to the Bahamas. So they're going to have to occasionally be in the same room, probably. But when they all arrive, her aunt informs them that they're having a mold issue in a couple bedrooms and they will have to double up on rooms. Lincoln and Penny will be sharing. Guess they'll be more than occasionally in the same room.
Right?
I feel like this book tried to put way too many tropes in one thing.
They did, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
I mean, I would have just been here for like the glory hole thing, and that could have lasted way longer for me.
I wish that there was more. There was
Mhm.
more glory holing. More holes in the glory.
Penny tries to talk to him,
I'm done.
but Lincoln stops her, telling her she didn't want him, that he wasn't enough for her, and just to leave it alone. Later on, all the cousins are enjoying a fire, but talk turns to significant others, or lack thereof, and both Penny and Lincoln decide to turn in early. Lincoln lays down next to Penny, and they both apologize. He asks to kiss her, just this once since it's all over. They do. And then she says, fuck it, and kisses him again, deepening it. They start to grope each other when the door flies open and Lincoln's youngest brother, Gavin, walks in, one of the twins.
Stoned out of his mind.
Oh, fucking yeah.
So funny.
Lincoln tells him to get out and keep his mouth shut, but Gavin is like asking if he's just really high or if they were just making out. He's just really not sure, honestly, at the moment.
I I loved that. I love that for him.
Penny tells him that they're just really drunk. It was a one-time thing. And Gavin says that their Alabama secret is safe and leaves because, cousins.
So
Yeah.
I love Gavin. I love the twins.
Yeah. Penny starts to panic. Gavin has a big fucking mouth. Lincoln tells her that he wants her. Now that another person knows and doesn't care, like, come on. She tells him not to break her heart. He tells her she's the only one who could break them. And then they kiss again. and decide that maybe they're going to do this.
That was them kissing, by the way.
Until one of the boys calls Lincoln downstairs. But
Because the twins can't keep their fucking mouth shut
no,
from each
they
other.
can't. And so on the vacation goes. Penny tries desperately not to be obvious or touchy with Lincoln while waiting for when they can finally be home and actually try out this relationship to see if it can actually stick or be a thing. While Lincoln is baiting her and actively trying to get caught because he feels like that will solve all their problems.
I mean, if they don't have to hide it, it can solve a lot of problems, but she wants none of that.
No. The last night at dinner even has Penny almost feeling like confessing, though, when her aunt asks if she's seeing anyone, and she replies saying it's complicated. Well, what's so complicated? Well, it is a moral issue. Is he a child? Well, no. Like,
Oh my God.
well, her aunt says, well, if you care for each other, forget your morals.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, my aunt just gave me the green light to fuck her son, unknowingly. They finally return
I
home.
have a feeling she probably knows.
She didn't sound like she knew. When they finally return home, I thought so too, but that's how I
I
thought it was
don't
going to
think that
happen.
they're as oblivious to it as she
I thought
thinks.
she was going to be the one to know, but apparently not.
Same.
Yeah. When they finally return home, Lincoln tells Penny in the elevator to get a good night's sleep and to leave her door unlocked. The building is so safe. She should just leave it unlocked.
Well, because originally she was a little disappointed because, like,
He's just dropping her off.
he's just dropping him. And then he
Yeah.
said that, and she goes,
Oh,
oh,
okay. Yeah.
okay,
So 2 hours,
sure.
yeah. So 2 hours later, he's heading up to her apartment to wake her up and use her just like she likes. He even ties her to the bed before he fucks her mouth and then fucks her. They even kiss this time. No picture.
Was there only one picture?
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll just get that
There
out.
was a QR code at the very
We
end.
picked, but it was just the same picture. We picked this book because we were promised photos of the scenes and it was one scene. And while that was cool, I felt like I got amped up
Thinking
and
that we were
then,
going to get more than just the one
right, and
scene.
then I was sad. If I had not gone into it knowing, I probably would have been happy with the one I got.
And it's just thinking that we are getting more.
Yeah.
So there was a little disappointment.
And that's not necessarily on the author because the author didn't tell us that. It was a reviewer.
Right, yeah. But that's just our personal opinion.
Yeah,
And you're allowed to have personal opinions. You just can't
absolutely.
shit on other people.
Absolutely. Unless you're Colleen Hoover. I mean,
That's a collective opinion.
so Lincoln has a Vegas trip for his company coming up that he needs to go on for some sort of awards thing. His usual person, Crystal, who plans all his events, can't go as her wife is about to give birth.
It's not me. But it's spelled exactly like mine, which was
Yes,
great.
yes.
That for
Aiden
me.
suggests that Penny go to help since she does all that on a minor scale for his company. Lincoln checks with Crystal to see if she's going to be needing more permanent help with the baby coming. Crystal jumps at interviewing Penny. Penny's excited. Vegas
Venny? What?
Vegas is a trial run at a potential job that is more of what she actually enjoys doing. And they go, and it goes off without a hitch, and their company wins the award. And Penny kisses Lincoln at the table in front of everyone. At
Ma'am.
the after
Listen, shit
party.
goes from 0 to 100 in like 30 seconds.
I know, like this book was so slow for so long.
And then it was like,
And then it
nah,
was like, oh
bro.
crap, we have to end this.
Have this craziness about to happen. Like, what?
At the after party, they tell each other that they love each other, and Lincoln suggests they get married. Stunning Penny. Who could have seen this happening?
I
In
actually was not
Vegas.
expecting them to.
Oh, really? The second they
No.
said Vegas, the second they said she was going to Vegas, I was like, oh, there we go. He says he's all in, and they're in Vegas, and their family can just deal. She asks why he wants her to be his wife. He tells her she makes his life worth living, and he wants everything with her. She says yes. He drags her out the door to find a chapel before she can change her mind. It's quick, but they're married, and they head off to celebrate and have their wedding night. Once they're back home from their trip, they're just bringing their bags in when Penny's dad calls. Her mom is in the hospital. They think it was a heart attack. When they arrive at the hospital, Penny's mom is awake and grumbling. She is not enjoying the hospital or the fuss. Clearly, now is not the time to tell everyone about Vegas.
No, so they're going to put it off a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. So a few weeks later, her mom is doing much better, and they decide tonight at family dinner is the night to tell everyone.
Guess what? No, it's not.
But yeah, turns out Aiden and Jessa announced their engagement. They
So
have to wait
definitely
again.
not the time.
Yeah. So the next time they try, Penny's mom brings a date for her to their dinner, and Penny has had it. She is Dunsey. She blurts out that she's married, and her mom is not pleased, asking all sorts of questions because she wouldn't know anything. She's like, "When did you get married? Why wasn't I there? Who is this man? Why isn't he here? What the fuck is going on?" And Penny just asks her to sit down as Lincoln says they are married.
As he has his hand around her too, like
Yeah. His mother is all like, "You fucking what?"
I thought her mother was like that.
No. Penny's mom is having a meltdown. So that's when Lincoln's mom chimes in, is like, "You fucking what?"
I feel like though his mother took it better
Oh, absolutely. But
than
I
her
kind
mother
of
did, but oof.
thought she should have known. And so Penny tells them that they were married in Vegas. Penny's father asks how long this has all been going on. Lincoln says the beginning of summer. Lincoln's mom exclaims that it's almost Christmas. Penny's mom says that Lincoln must have taken advantage of her because that was when she was going through her birth parent stuff. Penny tells her mom not to talk about Lincoln like that he is the only reason she's okay now and that he was there for her. Penny's mom asks, "But what will people think?"
Honestly, though, kind of a valid question, but considering the meltdown that the mom is having, she's continuing to spiral down the bad
I
path.
mean, it's a reaction. Give her a minute, I
It's
guess.
a reaction.
Penny says that she loves Lincoln and hopes that they can accept that. Lincoln says that they aren't blood related, that everything is legal, and he doesn't give a fuck what others think. Lincoln's mom says that they just need time to wrap their heads around this. That's all. And Penny's
That is
mom
a
says,
rational decision.
right? And Penny's mom says that she's going to go lie down, that she needs space. And
That's
maybe
also
some
rational.
smelling salts.
I
Maybe some
need I
smelling
need to
salts.
lay down,
Yeah,
guys.
I need to lie down. So they all head home. Christmas Eve rolls around, and things are tense. Lincoln's family has come around, but Penny's parents are still avoiding them and are distant. Penny really tries, though, and at dinner tells her mom about them buying a house and how it's closing soon, and how she could really use her mom's help decorating. Her mom sees the picture of the house that Penny's showing her and agrees, and the ice breaks. And then we have an epilogue in the new house where they use the dryer for her to her front half inside of and have her bottom half hang out of as a semi pseudo glory hole.
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever there was a whole thing for a while and it's a huge joke. Oh no, I'm stuck in the dryer.
Yeah. No, I got it,
It's so funny.
but they thought that was the next best thing to a glory hole because
I
oh, there's a
mean,
hole and there she is.
they could just build one in their house.
See, honestly, I thought that's where this was going, and
They
then it
should have.
didn't. Yeah, I was
Oh.
kind of bummed by that. But then we fast forward 2 years within the epilogue, and they're having a symbolic ceremony for the parents. I don't know why they waited 2 years for this. And Penny is very heavily pregnant, and why they waited for this part either. But here we go. Especially since it's a very simple ceremony, it's just them. Weird, but that's how we end the book.
Money?
It's just them
I don't fucking
without
know.
even officiant.
I don't know. I got
Efficient,
nothing.
whatever. Anywho, that is our first book of 2025.
Yes. Awesome. Who was your favorite character?
I would probably say the twins, probably Gavin specifically if I had to pick one because he just, I think, talked the most.
Yeah.
And so, like, they had this thing where, and I'm sure their book is probably coming eventually or whatever, but they tag team girls and they're like, we just have to find a girl that wants
Dude,
to go to
oh
Paris.
my God. I died and that moment happened. And he's like, and I'm
It
like,
took her a
I
whole second.
love these men. Like, so they like to take women to Paris often.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, okay,
Figuratively. Yes.
I
Yours too.
agree with
Yeah.
the twins. How about your least favorite person?
You know, honestly, Penny wasn't my super favorite. And definitely Penny's mom.
You know, Penny's bio mom.
And definitely Penny's my mom.
And it's only because like and I can understand things, but at the same time is handled poorly.
Yeah.
And anyways, but yeah, and then Penny's actual mom, like the adoptive mom, I didn't like her I don't know, but I feel yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just there was also this part in the book where like they kept forgetting how many cousins she had
Yeah.
because
Well,
then she would say, "I have three male cousins." No, you have four. Did you just forget about Lincoln all of a sudden because you're fucking
Yes,
him?
because she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it to be her
Well, she's
cousin.
like, I grew up with three male cousins. No, you grew up with four, bitch. There was this cute little part where when they were on vacation and she was shopping with her mom and they found this little necklace of a lucky penny, but obviously a penny has
With
Lincoln
Lincoln
on
on
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. So
it
it was
was
kind of
funny.
cute.
It was cute.
Yeah.
So, Amazon
Oh no.
gives this a 4.0, and Goodreads gives this a 3.8.
What did you rate it?
A 3.5. I had a pretty decent time, to be honest.
I had a decent time too.
I think
Um,
I think it also boils down to I didn't timeline.
Well, no, I don't think it has any, my rating doesn't have to do with timelining. I had a decent time too. I was totally here for the glory hole. For me, there was a couple inconsistencies which I don't like, and I felt like it was really unrushed in some parts and really rushed in other parts that I just was not super a fan of. Like where some parts I was like, okay, huh. And but I was like I was super here for the glory hole, but there were many parts that I was just not here for. I gave it a solid three because I was here, I was entertained, but it wasn't anything like I would write home about, and there were errors.
Yeah. Any
Any
hoozles.
hoozles. So, yes, this is our first time getting to use our new spice rating system.
Ew. It could
And
go poorly.
it could. And we are going to be using a pepper scale. And since it is new, we will talk about it a little bit. Our pepper scale consists of 9 peppers. I had to count that twice to make sure,
Funny.
ranging of spiciness. And we also have a little bit more of a, because we wanted to make it a little bit more concise or a little bit more obvious of what our ratings were. Like
Hmm.
obviously on the bottom is a bell pepper, and that's no spice. You probably won't really get that much here unless we fucked up. We done fucked up, which
I mean,
happens.
we have fucked
It does
up,
happen
so
occasionally, not on purpose, but
no
we
on
done fucked up.
purpose.
Next on the scale would be a poblano, where you might have one scene, or maybe a lot of foreplay scenes, or maybe a foreplay scene and one sex scene kind of thing like that. We might have the next one, which is a jalapeno, which is more than one scene, but nothing crazy. Probably just a basic vanilla book with a few scenes in it. Nothing racy. A little spice, but nothing to write home about. And then we have a serrano, which is multiple scenes. It could be multiple holes. It could be something freaky. It could be an extra person, something to give it a little
A little
zazz.
extra kick.
Yeah. And then we have a cayenne, which many scenes and definitely something extra, something to make it spicy. And then we have a habanero pepper, which is a lot of spice and many extras. It is a very spicy read. And then we have a ghost pepper, which is basically half and half smut and plot. But the scenes are legit and actually spicy, not just, you know. And then we have a Carolina Reaper, which is basically porn and has a little plot to it. And then we have Pepper X.
Which is just straight up porn.
Yeah. And all of
It's
these
just straight up
are
smut. There's
subject
no
to
plot.
quality because if something sucks, it's obviously not going to get the same rating because,
Hmm.
you know, it sucks. But
Because
we
something
wanted
could
to
have
have,
multiple scenes with multiple things, but it's not written well.
right,
So then we'll rate it a little lower. So it's
exactly.
still
But we just kind of wanted to have a scale that actually was the same every time kind of thing.
sure.
Yeah. Enough.
And also, at some point in the future, you will see our rating scale behind Ariel.
We're making it.
We're just in the process of making
We're just
it.
a little slow.
I am currently back in Florida and I need to print some things out to mail. So here we are. And, the life implosion thing too, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
And I could have made it, but I've just been busy with,
Listen,
back to school.
I have the things to make the stickers, okay? I have a plan in mind.
Crystal likes her plans. Anywho,
I
so
do.
for this book, our first book of the year, what
Yes.
are you rating this on our new pepper scale?
I was gonna go between a jalapeno and a serrano.
Solid. I'm going to call it a jalapeno.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm going to go with you. Jalapenos, well, yeah,
Yeah.
in between. In
It's a
between. It's
mixture.
a jalapeno and a half.
Yes.
A
A
jalapeno and a
jalapeno and
half.
a half. Love
In
that.
between a jalapeno and a serrano.
Absolutely.
Because it's not a full-blown serrano, but it's
No.
also a little bit more than jalapeno. Yeah, survivability.
I'd be fine.
I would also be surviving.
I'd have a great time. It'd be fabulous. So. I'd have a good time.
Fabulous time. Having a
Fabulous
good
time.
time. Having a good time.
And
We
we
get to
get to
spin
spin.
again. Woo woo. Oh, so
We
exciting. We
haven't
missed
done it in
this.
so
We
long.
missed this.
And it was so funny because when we first stopped spinning, we would like expect to spin and we're like, we don't have to do that. What are we doing?
And now we're like every week, it's like, oh, we get to spin again.
We
Hold
get to
on.
spin. Yay. So give me 1 second.
Mhm.
I haven't done this in a long time either. So share the screen and share sound. All right. Here's our beautiful, beautiful wheel. Ads. Are you ready? Or how ready are you? Are you ready for it?
Marginally ready.
All right. Let's spin this motherfucker. We are reading
Are you freaking
Ensnared.
kidding me? We're going to start with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this book that we just spun, for those obviously not being able to see because we're not fully visual, Crystal just picked our dystopian pick. And while we were trying to find
Well,
a dystopian pick, both of us were like meh on the books we brought. And I was like, well, I did find one that I liked, but it's a trilogy. And Crystal's like, fuck that. We can do things like that. We'll just read the first one and see if people want to continue reading it. And I was like, okay. So apparently
honestly,
we're starting 2020 like this.
listen, but here's the thing. It kind of fits the climate right now. So,
So we have spun Ensnared by Rebecca Quinn. And it is a trilogy, but we will read book one. And we obviously will probably read the whole trilogy and record the whole trilogy. And then if people are interested, we will put them out quicker. If not, we'll just, save them for a rainy day.
or save them for the potential of subscriptions.
Yeah. Or if it sucks, we'll know not to continue. So there's that too. We don't know.
There's that. She says, we're going to read all three and record them. What if we hate the first book? What the fuck are
Then
we
we
doing? Are we
don't.
still going to read it?
No.
Bitch,
We
lower your expectations.
we have learned to say no. So
Have
since
we?
kind of okay, we're working on it. By we I mean me. Okay. Since the final war, I've been doing just fine. I have a lovely cave, a darling vegetable patch, forest views even. And if loneliness sometimes squeezes my aching heart, well, my books have always kept me company. I'd do great in an apocalyptic place. See, that sounds great. Well, that is until a pack of hunters chased me from my home and right into the arms of several rather large, rather brutish ex-army rangers. And those brutes have the nerve to make me the rudest offer I've ever heard. Their protection for my body. Did I mention that I do well in apocalyptic scenarios? But this lady says that this whole thing is absurd, scandalous even, perverted. Whew. I mean, just the thought of doing that with 5 men? Honey, you need to take a breath. Well, she
I
takes the
think
deal.
we need more dolls.
I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. I think we need more dolls.
We'll
We
figure
might
it out.
we might have to
Anyways.
start drawing. So it's possible I find them indecently tempting, but these men also have secrets and pasts so fraught with emotion, I'm not sure I can untangle them all, or whether they'll let me. No, my roots have made it excruciatingly clear where they think I belong, beneath them, between them, bent over backwards for them, but certainly not beside them. And I don't think that's going to work for me. It might work for me though, because I'm gonna be good for this. So yeah, this one is a dark-ish post-apocalyptic steamy romance trilogy with 5 love interests. And yeah, I'm super into this. Multiple POVs, and it looks like there might be swords crossing. So I'm totally into this also.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a interesting, fun time.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie. What a way to start
we're
the
just
year.
going out with a
We're just
bang.
fucking diving
Just
right the fuck in.
bang, she bangs.
Okay.
Crystal had to make a joke about a one-hand read, and then Ariel got this.
I
Okay,
did.
so make sure
Hey,
to check out
welcome to
Ensnared.
welcome to the year.
Yeah,
God, you signed up for this.
we're going down with this ship, okay?
It's
Make
going
sure
down, and
it's
we are
going down.
yelling timber
Yeah, make sure to keep reading.
and keep it smutty.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.